Okay, in our last couple videos you saw eggs in an incubator. Well, the eggs, well, not the eggs, when the chicks hatch outside of the eggs, we're then going to put them in, I guess what you might call a little kitten cage or something along those lines, and with a heating bulb, and they will be in there for a few weeks, because normally they have mom to keep them warm. Now they'll have sort of this light bulb and you feed them and water them. And then they'll graduate from that to this contraption, which is not quite done, but it's really getting there. This is something you might call a chicken tractor. There's no motorized parts on here, but we're actually going to have wheels at this end, and you'll pick up this end and move this so the chickens are on fresh grass every day. So you move this about 10 feet long, so the chickens will scratch around finding insects, worms that are close to the surface. And then they'll leave their droppings and such behind, and so that's actually going to fertilize the ground underneath. So I've watched a lot of YouTube videos on how to farm correctly, and a lot of folks say to have a healthy farm you've got to have animals, because animals are part of that carbon cycle, which is the ecology chapters, which I don't know how much we're going to get to here. Let me talk a little bit more about this. So this siding is what's called board and batten siding. I think it's really pretty, antique-y rustic. So that's actually the board, the part that's recessed, and then here is the batten. And the batten is actually to cover the groove. So all the grooves we used silicone sealant to seal this up, because we want it to be as warm as possible for the colder months. So we'll actually have some sticks going across up inside here for the chickens to roost on. And then here we'll have two nests, and so that is where they will lay eggs. So we'll have somewhere between 6 and 8 hens. The rooster, we're thinking possibly not the rooster. If we have one that's loud, for sure, we're not going to have that. Some crow more than others. But this will have a door on it. This will have a steel roofing. This will have steel roofing that kind of opens up this way. So we'll just have some latches. You pull down and you just kind of reach in under the hens, and they're amazingly kind. They just generally let you take the eggs. I say generally because I guess sometimes there are some hens that have attitude and are good mamas, and they'll peck at you and it'll really hurt. I hope you don't have any of those, but this is where you'll get the eggs from. And a good laying hen is going to lay about 2 eggs out of 3 days. I'm hoping for at least 50%. So if those 6 hens lay 3 eggs a day, that's a great number. So there's the back end. Again, the wheels will go here. The wood actually came from, I'm going to have my photographer pan around. This is what we refer to the front pond. That pond is actually dug out. Really, there's not much of a dam. We just dug a big hole and built some earthen kind of mounds around to give us some privacy and give us some contour to our property. To do that, we had to take out some trees, and those big timbers that I just showed you, those actually came from a couple really large pin oak that I had cut up into lumber, and that lumber went to build my deer cabin, and we still have lumber we're using still. It's going to be one heavy chicken tractor, but it will be substantial, and it certainly will not blow away. Let's go back to chicken tractor. So a front shot of this, we used a slightly different siding. We used clapboard siding. So this is what you typically see more in houses. Now the cool thing, so this came from lumber on our property. All of these uprights and pieces, well, this is stuff that actually was part of a greenhouse that I accidentally burned down. But a lot of the lumber here came from pallets from Terre Haute South Eagle High School. We grabbed 11 pallets and we cut them up into various pieces, and so a lot of this is recycled lumber. So that's recycled lumber, that's recycled lumber. So that's upcycling, taking something that is in existence and using it for something else. And this will be used for probably quite a while. I'm going to be putting wood preservative on that. I had a piece of wood. It's going to give it a gray appearance. Oh, here we go. Of course, you know how cheap Mr. Warner is. You can kind of see that's kind of got a bluish gray appearance. I've got a bunch of old cans of stain and such wood preservative that I got on clearance at Lowe's and Menards. that were either dented or people had mixed up and they didn't like the color. So I bought them when they're cheap, and so we're going to use it on something like this. So I'll use a sprayer for the first time. Now there's going to be chicken wire all around here, pretty strong chicken wire. Chickens make for good meals, easy meals for coyotes and raccoons and mink. Mink are sometimes called weasels around here. They actually ate some of my son's quail that he was raising a long time ago. And anyhow, when those chicks hatch, we'll show those, and when we start putting them in here, we'll show those, and when it's completed, we'll show it. Hopefully things are well with you guys. Hopefully you're following Remind. I just got an update. One more person is on my Remind 101, so thank you very much. And I'll have Wednesday's assignment up sometime soon. You guys take it easy. Farewell.